welcome to Lost in Conversation. I'm here with Dave. We're doing it again.
Hey, we're back.
It's been about 4 years since we've done this last time.
Way too long, man. Way too long.
A lot has happened. We are now both married. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah. High five.
brother.
And we brought our lovely ladies onto the show.
Yes.
We're here.
High five, Emily.
High five, Leslie. Yes, we're here with Leslie and Emily. Tonight we'll be talking about How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, yeah.
Conversation. Conversation. Lost in conversation. Lost in conversation.
Alright, so we just watched the finale of How I Met Your Mother. This is Dave and Leslie's first time watching it. Me and Emily's second time.
We started watching it, and we binge watched the whole thing in, what, 3 months? It was quick. Like, that's the fastest we've ever gone through the show.
We are coming out of retirement for this one. At least 4 years ago. Probably longer.
I was living around Hill at the time. I think we had my landlord there join us for one of the podcasts.
Was it 7 years ago, maybe?
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be
long
less because we've known each other 6 years, and you did the podcast.
We'll say 7. We'll
Go
with
with
7.
Wow.
When
7.
you started, though.
7.
Okay.
7. I think we'll go with 7.
So
What?
we're just...
The last time? No. You did it after.
Did we?
Yes, you were in Round Hill.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, maybe? Okay.
Yeah, I might be mistaken. Anyway,
Well, first of all, a lot has happened in this last 6 years. You guys got married.
oh yeah. And
Me and Emily
You
got married. And we have baby Evelyn, or baby Clara, if you will.
Baby
baby
Clara.
Evelyn
first.
Clara,
Yeah.
if you will.
And we got a house now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Decorated for Christmas, by the way.
Very nice.
Merry
very,
Christmas.
very festive.
Were you guys surprised by the Minion coming in here? By the way?
No.
The Minion
It was so
is
cute.
awesome.
Yeah.
We love
Cool,
the
right?
Minions.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah. And we'll definitely do a rewatch of this.
Yeah, I think we will too. Leslie and I, we have a thing. We watch all our shows together for the most part.
Yeah.
This is definitely a show we had to watch together. So it's like if Leslie's working, I'm not watching it, and vice versa. We just have to wait, and then it's so worth it at the end because then we end up having these unbelievable nights where we're just like, oh my gosh, can you believe that?
Like tonight.
Yes.
Dave, how about that show breakdown?
Okay, let's break it down. How I Met Your Mother. Where do we begin? Let's start back as a flashback, if you will. It's back in 2005. You got Ted Mosby, 27-year-old guy living the dream in New York City. He's an architect or aspiring architect. Pretty much just hanging out with his friends. He's got this group of friends.
Tight group of friends.
Tight-knit group.
Reminds me of the group that we had
It kind
in
of
the
does. So
mid-2000s, yeah.
So you've got Marshall, his BFF from Another Mother. That's played by Jason Segel. He's a law student. He's kind of found his person already. Lily Aldrin, played by Allison Hannigan, works as a kindergarten teacher. They've been dating for like 9 years. And then you've got kind of the wild card guy, Barney Stinson. He's kind of the wild child in the group. He's always kind of hitting on girls and, kind of keeping track of his next conquest. And then you have your X Factor, if you will. Your fifth person is Robin. And she's sort of the last person to join the group. And that's her role is played by Kobe Smulders. So then basically at some point, the 5 of these people all end up becoming so entrenched in each other's lives that become a family. They're friends, but they're more than friends. Gets way more complicated than that along the way, but ultimately McLaren's bar is where they end up at in almost every episode at the end of the night or the beginning of the night or at some point of the episode. There's going to be a scene in that bar. the sort of kind of like center point, like the Central Perk from Friends or place from The Office.
Poor Richards.
Poor Richards, yeah. So there's different places that kind of are synonymous with the show. So you've got this group, and this kind of all revolves around Ted to a degree, because Ted's basically future Ted.
He's the main character.
He's telling the story of how he met his kid's mother. And the cool thing about this, if for those of you who don't know, is voiced by Bob Saget from Full House fame. I gotta say, he does a great job of being the narrator and just kind of articulating in kind of the same way that the guy from The Wonder Years kind of told Kevin Arnold's story about how he grew up and how his life progressed. So that's pretty much the breakdown.
It's a good breakdown.
Thanks, man.
I like Bob Saget as the voice because it kind of. We grew up watching Full House. It kind of like that voice. It's like your TV dad is talking.
He's
to you.
our TV dad. And
yeah, he's the TV dad of all TV dads, in my opinion.
Rest in peace, Bob Saget. Man, he was awesome.
Well, how did I got into the show? Well, actually, I got into the show so many years ago, like probably 10 years ago.
Really?
Yes. Gosh. I
Think you know somebody.
was back home in Ecuador.
Before Dave?
Before Dave, yes.
Oh my
I was back
gosh.
home in my country.
BD.
My
BD,
country.
Before Dave.
Ecuador. I didn't know Dave existed yet. So,
Oh.
yeah. So,
You sure do know now. Anyway.
I was living by myself. I was working and everything. So my sister had got Netflix, so I was like, oh yeah, and she gave me her password. So back home, and I started watching. That time we had Friends there in Netflix, and they took it away. But then I was like, oh, what other show can I watch? And then I started watching How I Met Your Mother, and then I stopped. Life got busy and everything, and then I came here, and
That happens in life sometimes.
yeah.
Oh, definitely.
And then I was, into other shows. And then with my now husband, we were like, oh, what shows are we gonna keep watching after watching our favorite show? And
Supernatural.
I have a list of all the shows and
The Office.
the episodes that I am at a long time ago. And so I said, oh, how about we watch How I Met Your Mother? And we just started watching it, and we loved it. We call it like our short show.
Yeah.
I think we have long shows and short shows, the ones that last for an hour and the other ones that...
It got to the
20
point
minutes.
where it was like, it just became our show. Like, it wasn't just...
So that's how you got
How I
into the
Met Your
show.
Mother anymore.
Yes.
Okay, do you have a favorite episode or moment or both?
Nothing that I can think of at the moment, but I do want to say that my favorite character, everyone has like their own things, their own good things, their own bad things. I think they're all very normal, like they are not, well, except for Barney. He's over the top, I think. But I think like Robin is the one that I feel sorry about, and kind of like the one that I like the most. It's because, she's by herself, she's alone. She had a rough life growing up and doesn't expect to have good things in her life, basically. So she pushes it away. Yeah, I think.
So Robin is your favorite character, or the one you?
I will say it's my top favorite. I mean, everybody has they are so different.
Okay, so you don't have a favorite episode or moment. How about the part that made you laugh the most?
Oh my
on
god,
the
I
show?
laughed so bad.
Is there a
in this
couple of
show.
moments?
Oh gosh, no, I don't recall, but I guess Barney is the one that made me laugh the most with his.
Okay, Barney, just
with
overall.
his stuff, yes.
How about is there a part that made you cry the most, or a couple moments maybe?
Well, I'm gonna just because it's fresh. The last moment, the one that made me cry the most is my
She
notes.
has
My
notes.
notes.
Oh,
I have
look
my
at that.
notes.
Only me and Leslie took notes. I'll have it known.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I think when she got pregnant, the the wife got pregnant, and before they got married.
When he announces it at the bar, where she says, "I want a wedding dress that fits."
Yeah, that made me cry, and also like the
Barney says-
goodbye that Lily and Ted had. That was like, oh gosh, so sad.
The ET
Like-
goodbye.
Yeah, the ET
Okay,
goodbye, like
yeah.
that kind of moment. It relates to like real life, like something that I will feel like sometimes, like when we just got married, the feeling of not having my dad in the wedding. It kind of like brought that sentiment, if that makes sense. That going away
That
from
realism.
somebody that yeah. So that's what I really think got me.
I heard somebody say, like, you never know the last time you see someone. Sometimes, like, a wedding or even a funeral is the last time you see people. At least in my life, I'm like, man, that's the last time I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably never
Yeah.
see him again.
Yeah. So yeah, for that part, we'll say that's the sad moment. Again, okay, the characters again. Am I done with it? No, right? The
I
characters.
think so.
The characters. Yeah.
All right, Dave,
Yeah.
ready?
Okay.
Okay, Dave. How'd you get
Yes,
into the
sir.
show?
Sorry?
How did you get into the show, sir?
Okay, well, I have you to thank for that, my friend. So, let me backtrack a little bit here.
Oh,
So,
okay.
way back yonder, there was a time where my good friend here, Clay Hammonds, had mentioned this show called How I Met Your Mother. He mentioned that the gal from American Pie, Big Band Geek, and the funny guy from Jeff Who Lives at Home, it's a great movie by the way, were in this show How I Met Your Mother. I'm like, oh, I like them. Okay. He's like, okay, I'll check it out.
I told you about this?
You did. And
In
so,
2000? Were we roommates then?
I don't know when it was. It was a while back.
I have a really weird, deep thought that's in my head I have to get
Well,
out.
go
right now.
ahead, get it out.
How I Met Your Mother, right?
Mhm.
It's a chain of events. How he
Yeah.
meets. Now, there was a night where you did not want to go out and do karaoke, and I made you go out,
That's right.
and that set up a chain of events
It
that
did.
made you meet Leslie.
We always talk about this. Okay, so
Right?
I don't mean to get off subject here, but this is what we
But
do.
I just thought of that.
This is how
That was a chain of events that led you to Leslie
this is how we get lost
in the
in
conversation.
Okay, Clay and I have had this conversation at least 13 times. Okay,
That's a
More than
such
twice
a
a
very
year, huh?
specific number, right? Anyway, so
yeah.
yeah, when we were roommates, I was ready to go out, but I was in a weird place mentally, and I didn't really want to go out. It was just, let's go do something.
And I said, suit up and let's go. Let's go.
He said, get your no good keister out here, or I'll pump you full of lead. Oh, wait, that's from Home Alone. Sorry. Okay. That's
Yeah,
not right.
I insisted he go, and that night changed his.
I actually had turned the light off with my clothes still on.
I actually remember it in my head. I was like, "Dang, we gotta go." Come
And
on.
I turned the light off, shut the door, lay down with the covers over me, and he knocks, opens the door. I was like, "Hey man, you ready?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I almost said nothing and went to sleep, and then the last second, I was like, "Okay," and then I got up and we went. Well,
We obviously can't tell the whole story, but a
well,
short version.
let's
of
just say I met a girl
Yeah.
who ended up
it. Leading you to another girl, who led you
leading
to another girl,
another girl, and then
Northern Virginia, and then
I
to
ended
another
up
girl.
that event had a big part of me played a big part of me moving.
So that's
to
where
Northern
you
Virginia.
met that girl that led you to the other girl. That girl
Led me to Northern Virginia,
to Northern Virginia.
and then if I had never been to Northern Virginia, obviously I would have met you more than likely.
So I
So-
played a big part in how Dave met his Leslie.
This is how I met my Leslie.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
but it's
And
crazy. You think like if
maybe
you
I'll
didn't, if
be-
you didn't go out that night, I don't know.
I might still be living in Grafton Station. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? We
Dating
don't-
that Hooters waitress you're with, I don't know.
Wait, that wasn't me.
Let's just keep it to
Okay.
What?
Anyway,
Okay, so how'd you get into the show?
but
I
anyway.
told you about it.
Oh yes.
No, you guys.
So
went
Okay.
to other stuff.
So then Leslie and I, like we talked about, like Leslie mentioned, we're big into shows if you haven't realized. So my favorite show, as Clay already knows, is The Office. And
Amen,
then,
brother.
yes, sir. And then
Everybody likes the show too.
Leslie, her fave was this show called Supernatural. So during the pandemic,
We gotta get it. We gotta try that, by the way.
yes, you do.
Yes.
So during the pandemic, we were sitting around at her mom's house with nothing to do, and we're like, "Hey, we should watch a show." So we're just sitting around, you know. I'm like, "Okay." So she gave me two options. One of the options, because we'd already finished The Office, was Supernatural, and the other option was Grey's Anatomy. I'd heard of Grey's Anatomy. I'd seen it a couple times. Hospital drama,
Sex drama.
Yeah.
So this is how
I've
you.
seen shows like that.
This is how you
before.
got into How I Met Your Mother.
No, this is how I got into Supernatural. But I'm getting to that. So
Okay.
this podcast is how things go. Anyway, so I decided to choose Supernatural because it sounded intriguing to me. Because it's like, oh, this sounds different. Vampires and monsters, and like that sounds different. Let's try that. Well, 15 seasons later, it became my second favorite show of all time. We went to a convention last year. I mean, we're super fans. So,
Okay. Do you have a favorite episode or moment of?
Clay doesn't have the patience because
Oh,
you're
oh,
sidetracked to
Oh,
Supernatural.
Supernatural or How I Met Your Mother?
Favorite
finished
episode
and say how you get
or moment or favorite character of How I Met Your Mother?
Okay, let's
Or all
get
the
back on
above.
track here. So, not to steal Leslie's thunder, but my favorite character is Robin. I share some of the same sentiments as Leslie. I think Robin, her character, remember, she's the last of the 5 to join the group. The other 4 were already a thing. And in the very first episode, you see her, meet Ted, and she becomes part of the group, and like they're not even sure at first. But then she's hanging around, and then they decide, hey, yes, we want you part of the group. Lily connects with her, and she's like the last member of this group, but she's a little different. She's from a different country. So she's from Canada. She brings all her Canada knowledge to the group, and they all look at her like...
She actually really is from Canada. By
She
the way.
is. They all look at her weird when she mentions like a famous sports star or actor, and they don't know who she's talking about.
Hey, that's how I feel here.
Yes. Maybe that's why I like Robin, because it reminds me of you. But the thing about Robin is like, and we kind of had this nonverbal connection. When we watch the show, we look at each other and we see the emotion on Robin's face during a scene is different than any other character. It's like the stuff that she's going through, she keeps everything kind of locked down, and it's like she's going through stuff in a dark place without letting everybody know about it, except for the audience. The audience sees it, but her friends that are right there with her don't see it. The other characters, not as much. You don't see as much of that. I think that's what makes her the stand-up character.
What made you laugh the hardest, and what made you cry the hardest?
Well, there's so many funny things that have happened on the show. I agree, Barney is always hilarious with all his shenanigans, and like even when he's serious, it doesn't last very long. But then everybody brings something funny to the table. Like Robin with all her songs, which we'll get into later. Ted with all his very particular ways of doing things and analyzing. Lily with her open-mindedness. Marshall with his just goofiness. Like they all bring like that comedic element. So they all have great moments. So
Any
again,
particular moment or no?
hard to pick just one.
Okay.
The crying moment, the sad moment is, and maybe I'm a little biased because we just watched this, but watching that last episode when Barney sees his baby,
Oh, I know, right?
and like
That was emotional, man.
Dude, I don't know if I can even get through this.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say sad for me. It's just like emotional.
It's just
but it's
emotional,
not
but
sad.
it makes me cry even thinking about
If
it.
you want to cry on the podcast,
Like-
that would be the first. Go for it, man.
Like we talked about this a little bit the other night. It's like we talked about how Barney comes across as this kind of arrogant, just shiftless guy who's like just making bad decisions, but there's certain times during the show where you see him really step up, and it's like they show him like, hey, look what Barney did for everybody when everybody was down and out. He like, what was it? What did he do? He like made something up that made everybody feel better.
When Barney talked to the baby, it was like not funny anymore. It was like real serious.
Yeah.
He
It
was,
was
like,
a total different man.
he was like, you're everything to me.
It was
I'll always be there for you.
Yeah, what he said that he hasn't met the girl or the woman that he's gonna say that to.
It was like that was the girl.
That was the
Yeah.
girl that
Yeah.
he wasn't expecting.
And when you think about his character, like it's like all this nonsense led up to this one
A
moment.
lot of nonsense for sure.
Yeah. And think about it. When he was growing up, he didn't know who his dad was. He thought Bob Barker was his dad, for crying out loud. His mom was a little different too. So like he had a weird, messed up childhood and a confusing one. And then he had the time where he was in a certain place in his life, and then he changed to his suit up mode. Like the dude's been through some stuff, and he reacted in a way that maybe people would frown upon, but ultimately at the end, like it all led up to that moment, and to me that was the best moment.
Nice. Okay, so I got into the show when it was playing live on air, mid 2000s. I think I was just slipping through the channel and I saw the redhead girl from Bandcamp and Jason Segel. And I was like, oh, I know these guys.
There you go.
And then I felt like when I saw Barney, he looked familiar. And then I realized it was from
Doogie Howser.
Doogie Howser. Yeah. So I was like, oh man, this is a good cast. I have a couple of favorite moments on the show. One of my favorite moments is when Ted is going to a dating service, like a matchmaker,
Okay.
the lady, and
Oh, yeah.
she's trying to hook Ted up, and she says that she's gone through all the females, and there's no one out there for him at all. And he's like, you gotta be kidding me. He's like, no, 100%. That's my tagline. But I've tried everything. And she goes on and on how she's tried everything. And she's like, there's girls out there turning 18 every day. But okay. So another favorite episode I have is when Robin, they find out she is a mall singer, like an 80s mall singer in Canada. That was really good. The Let's Go to the Mall, which we'll all sing later on the podcast.
Yeah, Robin Sparkles.
There's a lot of funny moments with Barney's gay black brother.
Yes.
Very
Wayne
funny.
Brady, Wayne
Yeah.
Brady, man.
There was an episode where it's the last season. They're at the wedding venue, and he's saying like stay away from the old people, or like, and they're hiding out in the
Yeah.
a closet ice machine, and he like sacrifices himself. He goes out there, and all the old people like swarm. It reminds me of Walking Dead. Like he just like slowly goes down like it's a herd of zombies. You know?
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he does karaoke, and he's dressed as two different people.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, he
half
did.
Yeah,
woman,
yes.
half guy.
Yeah,
that
that was great.
Caught me off guard. Johnny from Cobra Kai was
Oh
on
yeah,
there.
I was gonna say, what about Billy Zapka?
There were a lot of good,
Cameos,
Favorite
I guess you could
moments.
say. Yeah.
actors and or actresses from other shows and singers and stuff, famous people there.
The characters I really like the relationship between Lily and Marshall. I like them because they have their problems, but for the most part, they're a solid couple.
Yeah.
And I feel like the show needed that because it kind of like lets everyone know that it is possible. There is hope. Ted was constantly doing so much for Robin, like just over the top stuff, and I felt like she would take it for granted. It was like the one that got away. Like Ted was definitely the one that got away. I didn't like that she slept with his best friend also, Barney. we all probably have felt like Ted at some points in our life, I'm sure, where you're
For sure.
looking for that, that special someone and the struggle that comes with that. And Robin. Even
So-
though you told me she used to be a Power Ranger, I guess, but...
Oh no, she was
She's an Avenger.
an
Avenger.
Ranger.
She was on the Legends of Shield, or what is it called? Agents of Shield.
Okay. Did you say Power Ranger, though,
Sorry.
before? She
Agents
was never,
of-
she was
Agents
never
of
a Power
S.H.I.E.L.D..
Ranger.
No, she's
The one with
never been a
Samuel
Power
Jackson.
Ranger.
Yeah.
That one. The eye patch. Yeah.
But-
So who's your favorite character? If you have one.
I like Lily and Marshall. I just like the couple.
If you had to pick one, who
I
would you
could
pick?
pick one.
Lily or Marshall? And why? No pressure.
I really like the mother, Tracy, a lot. I like her personality on the show. She's kind of has like a geeky side to her.
a lot like
That
Ted,
like-
actually.
It's like the compliment for Ted.
Yeah, like when they want to be detectives, they both separately say that. It's like, I'm kind of a detective, remember? Yeah.
The moment it made me cry was the part where the mother, Tracy, in an earlier episode is with someone who proposes to her. And she says, like, pretty much, stop, hold on, and then walks out. So I'm thinking, like, okay, if someone proposed to you and you have to walk out, that's definitely not going to work.
Yeah.
But then she goes out and she looks up and talks to her deceased guy who was going to propose to her and ask him, is this okay? And then she gets hit with a breeze that is, going towards the door. That was a big moment. That was a tear-jerking
that's
moment
true.
for sure.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
But it was shocking that after all that, she went and said no to the guy.
Yeah, you think like, okay, now she's going to say
Yes,
yes.
because,
Yeah.
said no.
I also like how she kind of like had her own little private moment with all the other main characters before she met
That
Ted.
was cool. Yeah, she met them all.
They did a good job with that.
Also, another moment was when Lily, she goes in the last season from the wedding venue, gets a ride from her boss and goes to the house and try to figure out why. And it's almost like a Clue moment. They're on that like old library, like, what could she have done? And it's kind of like a back and forth.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're like, well, she went to the bathroom. They thought she was smoking. Johnny thought she was doing karate. Barney thought something else.
Oh yeah.
So then they end up finding the pregnancy test, and then she's like, "I told you I could keep a secret."
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
was
we cried
good.
during
Yeah.
that. Yeah. They got us on that one.
Yeah. Well, they got us every
Yeah.
episode.
They caught me off guard there.
I thought we'd maybe go over Ted's serious relationships, the different girls in his life.
Sure.
Do you guys have a favorite? I think you guys' favorite's Robin.
Well, I'm gonna
Busted.
say Robin. It's my favorite character, like independently of what it's really her relationship with Ted is. I just like her character.
I thought it's weird how you see like season 1 to now, like how everyone aged. I think she aged the best out of the
Yeah,
Characters,
yeah, you
actually.
cannot tell the difference actually.
Yeah. That's true.
Oh, from the girlfriend.
I thought Victoria, that was my favorite one. And she was going to Germany, and he's like, and they run to each other like, let's try to make this work. I was like, cool. I thought she was the best one, and she was actually smart enough to say, I can't be in your life because Robin is still in the picture. So she was smart, and I really liked her. I thought she was the best one myself.
For me, that's the thing that I didn't like about her. That the fact that she's like, no, you cannot be friends with Robin. But I didn't like also that she was like, at the beginning, she was like testing and teasing Ted about, the kiss, about the moment, about, like, she didn't let it be natural.
Yeah, it's like she was playing games.
She was
the whole time.
kind of playing or trying to manage what was happening. Like, she didn't let it flow, like, oh, we're falling in love, let's do this. And she was like, no, let's wait.
And
I didn't like that about
and then when things were
character.
happening, then it's like, oh, you can't. I can't do this because you love Robin. After he basically took her away from her wedding, and they went down the the ladder or whatever. So like there was a lot of big moments there with them, and it was just all like, nah, I think you like Robin. See ya. Like, I don't know.
Let me break down Victoria real quick. So we meet her in season 1. Ted meets Victoria, a baker, at the wedding of his friend Stuart, which she made. Okay, she made the cake. Victoria kept her identity secret, nicknaming herself Buttercup. The name of her bakery, and how Ted found her again for the purpose of having one night of romance, fun with Ted, and then never seen him again. However, Ted discovered her real name, tracked her down. Okay, the two began dating, accepted into the fellowship of the Culinary Institute. Oh, okay, so she got accepted in the Culinary Institute in Germany. Although they were both initially against the idea, they tried a long-distance relationship. They broke up after Ted lied about breaking up with her to sleep with Robin, and nothing good happens after 2 a.m. episode. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
I was excited when she came back in the later part of the show also. I was like, oh, wait, that's...
Yeah, that was unexpected. Once that happened, we started wondering, like, if maybe she was going to be the mother at some point.
Do you guys remember Karen? I guess that was pre-series.
Yeah.
Does he have flashbacks of her like in a college?
I don't remember her at all.
I think it was played by the redhead from that 70s show. Isn't it like a college girl that just does him wrong all the time, I think?
Maybe it's a college girl, yeah.
Yeah.
That it wasn't.
So, Stella.
You guys like Stella.
So,
I like Stella.
I liked Stella.
I like Stella.
She was
She
my
had the kid?
second favorite. I thought there was potential there. Obviously, it turned out to be the biggest disaster out of all the relationships. But ultimately, like I liked the way she was sort of guarded at first, like with the approach, like, hey, I don't want to like you.
She has a kid.
I don't want you to get your hopes up. Hey, look, what was she, his therapist or something? Like,
but was she
was
using
like
the kid as an excuse because she was still in love with the father of the kid?
Well, I'm going way back. Like when they first met, he was going there for like physical therapy or something, right? And like she didn't want to get involved because she was his therapist, and she was like, no, I can't do that. You're a great guy, but like I liked her energy, and I felt like Ted with his enthusiasm and he's can-do attitude was ultimately going to get through to her, and he did.
And he had a good connection with the kid.
Yes.
And I remember it was a big deal about the group of friends like, oh, don't move to Manhattan. Stay in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? It was like, oh, Manhattan, New York.
That was
Manhattan,
the one red flag for me. I was like, I don't know about that. Like you got to keep the group together, especially, like that's kind of the whole premise of the show. If that gets messed up, then...
So then again,
like,
another character that just wants to break the friendship.
I think basically. I liked her more at first, and then as things went on, it started going downhill.
We would watch this in the background. I remember him with her, like, getting to know the kid. I was like, okay, Manhattan, he's going to move. This is going to be good. And all of a sudden, he's with someone else, and it's like, what happened to her?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she left him at the altar? Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah, I realized this when we were watching, too, that she was actually on Roseanne back in the 90s.
Really?
Early 90s.
It's the Stella character. She had been a little kid.
She was the one daughter, Becky, but she wasn't the original Becky. They replaced the original Becky with her, and then eventually they had both of them on there at the same time. It was weird, but yeah, I was like, hey, I recognize that girl's name, but anyway, another of what could have been love interest for
Zoe. Do you guys remember Zoe?
Oh yeah,
Zoe. Yeah,
she's the activist. That believes she's an activist. She chained herself to a 100-year-old redwood. She's stolen a police car. She stolen a police horse at an anti-war rally. Set a car on fire at a Guns N' Roses concert. Stolen a van with white rabbits from a beauty company. She became a nuisance to Ted as a professor. Oh, okay, because he was going to do the building. Against the destruction of Arcadia, an old hotel. What do you guys think of Zoe?
Not a fan.
That was just a freak show all the way around, right?
My favorite part of Zoe was that because of her, we got to meet the captain, and I did like him. The captain was a funny character, a good addition, and he actually had a long run on the show towards the end there. Yeah. He was an interesting mix. With Lily as as the boss of Lily and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, obviously it seemed like with Zoe it was not gonna work out. It was like
Yeah, from the very
they were
beginning.
fighting for, basically the opposite. And
When your foundation is based on, like, basically hating each other, then it's probably not going to
Yeah.
work out.
Leslie, would you like to do the breakdown?
Right, with Janet. Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeanette
Yeah.
Peterson. Sorry. Season 8. She's a lieutenant for the police, most likely of the New York City Police Department, and she was his last love interest before meeting the mother.
You guys remember?
Oh
her?
my God, so crazy!
You guys remember her?
Such a
she was
crazy.
Bona fide nuts. Like,
Yeah, just not even.
not even, no. She was the worst.
But there's girls
Tell me
like
about
that.
her. I feel like I need to go back and watch it. What was she
I
about?
think I didn't take her seriously
well, she
because
was like
so crazy.
how do you say, the toxic relationship that everybody has to have.
Was she
in
the
their
one that threw the
lives.
locket over the bridge, or was that Zoe?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
that
the
was her.
girl.
Oh, that was her.
That's the girl that also threw everything through the window.
Yeah, yeah. That's right, because,
Burned
like,
the apartment
remember,
literally.
like, they were all sitting down, the 5 friends, they were sitting down on the street or something, and,
Yeah.
like, all his stuff was getting thrown down there, and it was, like, on fire or something.
Yeah, they burned the apartment. Yeah. She burned the apartment. Yeah, no, she was nuts. But I think like that represents that everybody has to have one of those in
It's
their
sort of
lives.
like,
I think we all
basically
had one.
Yeah.
You've
Which
had
one was
one?
yours? Oh yeah.
I've had one.
It's
You've
pretty
had
much
one?
like your worst situation right before your best situation, sort of thing.
All right, you want to break down the next one, Leslie?
Okay. Tracy McGonough. Season 9 is the title character of the show.
The title
was,
character of the show.
Yeah, she was the wife of Ted Mosby and the mother of his children. She was a bass player and
Bass player.
She might have been a bass fisher. I don't know.
Yeah.
and
She
vocalist.
played that bass.
And economic theme hymn
Vocalist for a.
called Super Freaks Economics.
Yeah.
Freakonomics.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was amazing how they introduced her to the show. Like, you get little glimpses of her meeting everyone of the main
That was
characters.
the best.
Yeah.
I felt for her when she was like in the whole dating scene, and that guy goes to her house, takes his clothes off, and she's like, "Is this what dating's gonna be?" He thinks he's a nice guy, and then then something like this happens. I don't know. I really started to really like her.
Yeah, I actually, like, if you ask me again, like, who is the favorite, I will say, obviously, from all of them that are here, I will say her, because when, like you said, the glimpses that we got, I was like, man, that's the right person for Ted. Like, you
Yeah.
know, she just basically goes with his personality, and they are gonna get along. There's no drama there. She's always
She was all
the
in.
peacemaker, the open-minded one, the one that it's just like Ted. Like,
It's almost like,
I felt with like Robin, Ted was like, and then Robin was kind of like stepping back. But with this girl, it was just like she's all in. They just together, like they just meshed.
well, something about her, too, just as a character in the show, it felt like she was, like, literally the angel sent from above to rescue Ted.
She almost
from-
had that look. Like she had like almost like a. And sometimes I feel like I'm watching a play with this show.
Yeah.
Like, and then she fits that like the role perfect. She just looks kind of like a little mysterious with the big eye, and she just kind of like, it's almost like you said, like an angel just comes onto the show, like with that umbrella. Oh, we got to talk about the umbrella and the horn.
I was thinking about that. Like, I was searching on Amazon for some stuff, and there was like a keychain that had the horn and the umbrella, and I was like, why did they put them together? And then at the end of the show, I understood.
Yeah.
I always thought it was going to be the blue horn. I was like, it's going to be the blue horn. Then the umbrella. I was like, okay, maybe the umbrella's it. But then, holy crap, the blue horn. We got to talk about how that show ended, though, right?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
how should we do this? I was thinking maybe I just quickly go over what happened those last 2 episodes.
Sure.
You guys just chime in, whatever.
Sure, yeah.
And then we'll end it with talking about how we felt about the ending.
Okay.
So, does anybody else have to pee?
I'm
going to go pee and you guys get to talk about, you just kind of talk. So.
Okay, I got this. I've been down this road before. Okay, so Clay's peeing now. So this is the part.
That like 10 times.
This is the part where we keep the audience on the edge of their seat,
What are you
waiting for something big to happen, because you never know when something is going to happen that's going to get your attention and to send you into a tailspin that you can't explain.
Okay.
So, as I'm speaking these words, I hear the water flowing through the valley,
Hey, I'm back, guys. How'd it go?
and then here comes Clay.
Oh,
See?
did I miss anything exciting? Okay.
It was very
I
exciting.
won't even ask.
I kept them on the edge of their seat.
Nice.
On
Like you
your
always do.
edge.
I don't think he was
Better
sitting.
than
I don't think
Salah.
he was sitting. But maybe.
Okay, so here we go. The show starts. Flashback, McLaren's Pub, 2005. We get a flashback to the bar. I believe at this point is like when the group is first introduced to Robin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we get that to start off with, and then we're back at the wedding venue, and here Ted tells everyone he's moving to Chicago. It's very
Yeah, that was an emotional time.
yeah. I was always against him moving. I was like, man, these are such good friends. I mean, yeah, it's someone you love, and that's going to be horrible, but gosh, to leave all your friends, I don't think that was a good decision for him.
Especially Lily and Marshall.
Lily
That
was
was the hard part, like from Ted, like leaving them, because basically they come the long way.
I think Lillian
And
was
he's
the
known
most.
them. He's known them the whole time. And Lily has always been kind of that sister type for him.
She's always the
Yeah.
most emotional. Like I feel like she has the most like love in
She's the more
heart.
conscious of all of them.
Yeah, and think about it. She's been there for Barney. She's been there for Robin. She's always kind of like the person who helps everybody deal with their problems.
Yes. Okay. So Ted tells Barney, "We lick the Liberty Bell." They do one last high five, which is very dramatic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ouch.
Which reminds me of Dave, our chest bumps that we do sometimes.
Yes. If
We
we
go-
hit a chest bump like that, then
I feel like if one of us move
We
out of
call
state, we have to
emergency.
do one more
we're
chest
gonna
bump.
have to do an epic one where we're like sore in the chest for days with ice
Okay.
packs. Like
Okay, so we go to the train station. You know, he's waiting for a train to Chicago, and then boom, we see her, yellow umbrella. I wonder where she's going. Is she just
Home.
going back to New York?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
because the guy that was part of the band just abandoned her, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And then the group thinks Ted is gone. Boom, he's at the bar. Surprise. The bar scene, we also find out that Barney has a child on the way.
Oh,
Okay, big talk here. The divorce. The whole season 9 is dedicated to this wedding. I didn't think it needed to happen. I thought Robin and Barney could have ended up together. I thought maybe after Barney had the child, since we find out Robin can't have any children, maybe that would have been a good way to they got back together, they're going to give it a try. Divorce.
I think that what you mentioned would have been a good ending if the mother of the show, like Tracy, wasn't dead.
Yeah. Because, I mean, how do you end the show? Obviously, they had this in mind the whole time, but, like, if Tracy never dies, then why would Ted end up with Robin, potentially?
Was it weird that we never
Right.
met the child's mother of Barney?
No, because it was a random girl that he basically.
I feel like we were too late into the show to really introduce a new character.
Well, she's also insignificant, like we talked about.
Yeah.
The whole thing was about the
Because
baby.
he was not in love of the mother.
He was in
He
love with
just
the
made a
baby.
mistake, but he fell in love with the baby. He
Yeah.
finally.
Okay with the divorce? Or
I have mixed feelings. My first reaction was shock and horror, and you saw how I reacted. I was not happy. I even said I wasn't happy.
I think you might have cried. I don't know.
I was mad, crying, the whole nine. But after everything else that happened, I see why they did that. Because of everything else that happened afterwards, in order for everything to happen. Like, if Barney doesn't get divorced with her, and he has this kid. That moment with the baby means not as much. It just doesn't. It's so more impactful because that is the one person, the one human being
change him.
that is gonna make him be the person he needs to be. If he's
That's
with
true.
Robin, then it's like, oh, he found his person and they had a baby, happily ever after. Boring. No, Robin's a very Barney is a very complex character, and he needed to be completely by himself again to really show how much this baby represented him.
Also, I want to say, who in their right mind would marry Barney anyway? With his track record?
Right.
I thought that was
he-
ridiculous.
Hey, poor Robin. Like, again, for me, Robin has had the hardest of the lives there, basically. She's trying to get a normal life, and that's why she decides to do it, basically. Like, okay, it's my moment, this is it. And then, basically it didn't work out. Actually, for me, the divorce, it didn't surprise me,
Yeah.
because, relationships that break up,
I thought the wedding was not going to happen when they thought they're going to be related to each other. Remember that?
Well,
Yes, I
remember,
thought-
I thought, well, this is what's going to happen. I thought that it was a possibility. I was like, maybe
a
that's
couple seasons ago, they showed like a little sneak preview
Yeah.
of like Barney freaking out, and then Ted goes to see Robin, and then she's kind of freaking out, and you're like, oh, this isn't going to work out. But then eventually you realize they are going to work out somehow. But then I didn't see this coming with the divorce, but
we find out Lily, prego number 3.
That you call it.
I did, and I have a story about that. So quickly, I'll say this. So there's an episode way back when, early on, where Bob Saget's narrating, and he mentions that Marshall's first son. He's explained something about his first son, and then they have the second kid, which is Daisy, a girl. So I told Leslie they're gonna have 3 kids because why would he say first son if that was gonna be his only son? Like, that's gonna be the first of at least a second, so that would mean 3. So, and that's what
Okay.
happened. So
Good attention to detail.
yes.
So we're at a Halloween party. Marshall sees Robin. He says it's been a long time. So the group at this point is probably kind of broken up for the most part. Not really hanging out anymore. And then we get a flash.
Robin, I think.
We get a flashback. Ted waiting for the punk lady in the pumpkin costume, and then he has a conversation with Robin, saying goodbye to Marshall's old apartment. So they're gonna have 3 kids. They think we need a bigger space. Then Robin breaks down and says, basically the group now is her ex-husband, hitting on other girls in front of her, which that's got to be pretty horrible. And then Ted, the person she should probably be with, is with another girl and a baby.
And you see the emotion on her face during that scene where they don't say anything. She doesn't say anything. She just sort of, they show her looking at Ted and the mother and seeming sad. You feel it. You feel it.
I didn't like that they had Ted and Tracy together, living together and having a kid being unmarried. I didn't think that fit Ted. Because I thought Ted was always about
the
getting,
traditional.
like love, getting married. And I
But I
thought that was always
But
surprising,
remember, that's why the scene in the bar is like, oh yes, we're planning all the wedding, and suddenly we cannot get married because I'm pregnant. Remember, like that's why they stopped.
But
Very.
throughout the whole show, he's wanting to get married. He talks about it over and over. I was surprised they didn't have him marry her, and that he would wait. Was it 5 years?
But I feel like it's because
years,
it was
maybe.
the right girl. Like
Well,
he
it's
didn't
5
care
years. He
about
said
that.
in 5 years you have to repropose.
Oh yeah, 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't care about that at the moment because he was with the right person and he knew that was for real.
I mean, you could break it down a lot of ways, but ultimately it's a little deep just because of the fact that he went against his own traditional wishes, I guess you could say,
yeah.
because he already found the right person regardless of what a piece of paper said.
Remember everything that he tried to do, the way he tried to do it, and it never came out right.
It all went out the window, and then when he met her in the most bizarre of circumstances, where he's getting ready to leave, like, and he just went for it in that moment, and then it worked out. But who would have predicted that? Like,
the point, like, my mom used to say back home, it's like, oh, don't watch these soap operas. They are so, like, things are not like they say it. And if you think about it, soap operas just show you what real life is. The things that they sell us, that it's perfect. Yeah, you got married. Then you had kids, or then you had pregnant, and like all this prototype that you're expecting things to happen. If you think about everybody's life, tell me of 10 people what really happened. Like
maybe 2 out of 10 get that.
Maybe 2 out of 10 get that.
The likelihood of that happening is not that likely. You know, that it happened for you guys is great, but for 10 out of 10 people, probably 8 of the 10 their circumstances are different. You know,
divorce is 50%.
Yeah.
At least,
Yeah.
Like,
So,
we're not talking only about divorce, but
you think about when we were
happening.
kids, like, I remember there was not that many divorces. Like, out of my little friends,
Well, there also was the social media and all this other stuff. That
well,
we
the
have
divorce
nowadays,
rate was
too.
lower
Sure.
than it is now.
But yes, but it was like something that is not accepted, basically.
Like most people our age are fed up by the time they get to our age,
And I don't blame them,
and
really.
they are making a lot of bad decisions, and they don't end up getting the happily ever after that we have. You know.
Okay, so we're back at the bar. Barney gives his speech about how he's basically not changed. The old gang's at the bar. Marshall announces that he'll be a judge. Barney is saying that basically that I haven't changed. But is this the point where he's tired now, I guess? Robot wrestling. Oh, okay, so they go to robot wrestling. And then Ted says he's getting married eventually. Barney's still Barney.
That's when he tells that he cut.
He's going for the perfect month, but the last one, he got pregnant. He's like, that puts a real asterisk on the perfect month. So we go to 2020, Ted with child. That was the moment that Dave was talking about.
Yeah.
So Robin they run into each other. So Barney, we're all together at the hospital. Barney's at the hospital for the big baby moment.
That was funny that he was like still Barney until the last minute.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I got my test or whatever, and he's still thinking about himself till the last moment, until he sees the child.
Literally till he sets his eyes on her.
I really liked what he said to her. I thought that was really awesome.
That was one of the best moments of the entire show.
It was the lie he tells the girls in the bar, but he was telling it to his daughter.
And you knew he meant it this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good moment. It was kind of like, I don't know what you say, like it was karma or like it was meant to happen. It was like basically...
I did like that ending for him.
Like it was a lesson moment or something. So we're 2020. Oh, Robin makes a surprise visit in the bar, and they all take a picture together.
Oh, that's when they are getting married, like when Ted is marrying.
Yeah, then we go to the wedding, and they're getting married, and all of a sudden he's saying that his wife is sick and in the hospital. They don't say why she's sick or what's going to happen, but at this point we know she's sick.
They kind of rushed through that a little bit.
Yeah, I know, right?
I get they introduced her late in the show, but man, I felt like
I was gonna say it was too rushed.
They could have made that episode an hour-long episode.
They could have. They had the moment what they're talking about in the hospital, or
a little more about their relationship, because they just jumped.
But then, as we all saw how the whole show ended, it's sort of like the kids, what they predicted the whole time. That the whole show was really about Robin and not about their mother.
But before he goes to talk to the kids, they talk about the history of the yellow umbrella. They go back to the bus station where Ted is talking to Tracy, and they talk about this yellow umbrella and how she lost it for a couple of years.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
Was it at an Irish pub or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's where he had it for a while. Has the initials on it, but they both have the same initials.
Yeah. I love that part. That was great. And
that Irish pub was when he got punched in the face, right? That was that night.
So we go from there to Ted with gray hair. I like how they have the gray hair. It definitely looks older.
A lot of gray hair there.
It's kind of funny.
His hair is the best throughout the show, from his college days through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like how the kids were like very like different from what you see in all the scenes when they're listening to the story. They're like,
Yeah, this is the first time Ted's talking to him directly. Like, you see,
Yeah,
like, he's
yeah.
on the other side, like, talking to
Yeah.
him. He's talking to the kids, and the first time he's talking directly, and that's where you hear, you know, Mom's been gone for 6 years. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
So this is supposed to be 2030, right? So 2024, she would have been gone for 6 years. So not long after they had the second kid, I think. I don't like the
No,
boy.
they were old.
Yeah, but like, what year was it that they met at the wedding? What year was that?
Let me see. My notes.
What's on your-
2020
Leslie, what's
I
on
think it was
Leslie's notes?
2024.
Leslie, what do you have on your notes?
Because we
I'm
were
just curious.
talking, hey, look, it's 2024. I feel like the first kid was born in 2024.
Barney's kid was born 2020.
Oh,
was-
oh wait, I'm getting.
Somebody was given birth in 2016. That was
That was the first
Lily.
kid.
No, that was Lily's. 2019, Barney had the kid.
Yeah.
So it must have been in between because he was already a dad.
Yeah, that's true.
He was already a dad when all this happened.
Okay.
So
He
the
was
kid's
already a
talking
dad
about-
before Lily got pregnant for the third kid.
Well, I mean,
Because they were already
How many kids did he have
married.
with Tracy?
Two.
two. Well, obviously,
Two.
when you see them as they've aged throughout the show, the kids, like when they're showing them at the end, they look like
Did they
they're.
look like they aged?
Yes, they do.
I'm trying to think back. I don't remember.
No, but wait, like the girl is like 4 years when she sees Robin, remember?
Hmm
And he only is
Oh,
They
I
look-
remember
with the
that, yeah.
girl.
They look to me to be like mid to late teenagers there at the end. So if it's been 6 years,
16 years.
that means their mom died when they were,
10.
about 10, maybe in that 8 to 10 range.
And they all say, they bring up, Aunt Robin. You got the hots for Aunt Robin.
Yeah.
And then he goes to call. Nope. And once again, the blue horn emerges.
I did
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
Like that.
That was a nice touch. To
Yeah.
end. If that was the way where they're going to end it with Robin,
Yeah.
then that's
was-
what they needed to do with it.
We are led to believe Ted, when she was about to marry Barney, he gave a big speech about, you're supposed to be with Barney, I'm not in love with you, and we are led to believe that he is not in love with her.
Oh,
She
come
is.
on. We knew he was in love with her.
He's been in love with her the whole 9 seasons.
Yes.
What are we to believe? Like, now she's going to come around to him? And that's another thing I have a problem with. I feel like she has led him on all 9 seasons, and this is, I don't see how all of a sudden it's going to happen.
So you don't think ultimately, I mean, because they don't really say whether it works out or not. They just show him with the blue horn. And
It's gonna work out. It's obvious that you want to expect them to work out.
I think at this point, this later part of their life, not that late, but they're older, I think maybe she's realized some things after marrying Barney and getting divorced and like, okay, like this, and I think she started realizing it right before she married Barney that, man, I'm making a mistake. I should be marrying you.
Emily, what do you think about that?
Wish that I wish they hadn't have killed off Tracy and just had him, or kept the show to be about how he met their mother, which is what it's called. So I wish they had just left him with her. I think she was so perfect for him.
Yeah.
And then, again, maybe since Barney grew up after having the baby and Robin had matured, that they could have gotten back to, maybe had it so that they got back together and actually had a successful
I think if she hadn't
Yeah,
died,
well put.
then that would have been good.
So that's how you expected the show to be, right? What did you expect the show
What
to
did I
be?
expect? Like before the last 2
Yes,
episodes?
before watching the end. What did
By
you
the way,
predict?
Well,
Yes.
But that was good.
no, I mean,
Make it short.
before we talked and you guys had mentioned, hey, bring your tissues and you're going to be crying and all this stuff, I was like, oh man, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And Leslie said to me right after we got off the phone, I think the mom dies. Like, just like that. No hesitation. Like, and I just looked at her and I didn't really say much. I was like, I don't know. But in my mind, I was thinking the same thing. And I'm like, man, that would suck. But I could see that happening. Like, why is why is he having to explain all this in such detail to these kids if the mother's still alive?
No.
Yeah, the more you think about it, he can't end up with the mother because that's too obvious.
No, but at the beginning, he was like, yeah, you wanted it to end up with Robin.
Okay.
But he said, maybe they divorced or something.
I had all these theories, okay, well, he keeps calling her Aunt Robin, Uncle Barney, blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, they never say that they're married. They just said that that's their mother. So they could have had these kids, but not worked out, and then he could have ended up with someone else, like Robin. This is before her and Barney got together. I was, like, thinking, hey, I think somehow they're going to end up together. And ultimately, the show ends with them hopeful to be together. And I think they probably do end up.
I liked Tracy a lot. I really wanted to see Ted and Tracy. I would have liked to have seen their wedding. I would like to if they had more time, like we would have got to know like how their wedding went and more time with them.
I think him and Robin are very different people, first of all, because they talk about that a lot. Like, she's likes guns and he's the opposite of that. And there's a lot of things that they differ on.
But yeah, again, I feel like they rushed too much at the end of the episodes.
They did.
And then they kill her really right away. Like they didn't.
We didn't really even get to know her that well.
That's all intentional. They don't want people to get emotionally invested in her because she's not really the point of the show.
Yeah, because it was not even their mom.
So
but is the title is like they throw you up.
So they don't show the big wedding. They don't show her passing. They don't show any of that emotional stuff.
I think regardless of how any of us feels about how things ended up, that the plan that they had from the very get-go was a smart plan as far as like keeping people glued to the TV. Because we're all like, what's going to happen next? And we're all surprised by the ending, and we're still talking about it right now.
It was very unpredictable. It was like, whoa, what just happened?
It's not an ending. We're just going to be like, yeah, I don't remember how that... No, we're all going to remember how that ended because it blew us away. And that's the whole point. They want us to react, and that's what they got. So I say bravo to that.
Are you guys going to go back and watch the whole show over again?
Yeah, at some point.
I think I will. There's a lot I didn't really... It was just kind of playing in the background up to like the last couple of seasons.
We have a lot of shows right now that are like waiting for us.
Yeah.
And then we'll get back
Smallville, we haven't started that one.
We started.
I never finished it the first time.
Once Upon a Time.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. You guys ready to sing?
Oh yeah, we
sure.
have to sing.
Let's do it.
Let's go to the mall karaoke.
It's more like this guy.
I know the chorus.
Superhero.
Here we go, guys.
Hey, you're on.
Okay, one.
Okay, here we go.
Let's
get it on, everybody.
Hey,
go!
Come on, Jessica. Come on, Tori. Let's go to the mall. You won't be sorry. Put on your tent braces and your green coat. At the mall, it's
all the boots. I haven't
done my homework yet. And that's okay. I don't know what my parents get.
But I don't care. So my friends gonna be there.
Everybody come and play. Throw your friends' care away. Let's go to the mall today.
I love it.
There's a boy I like. Met him at the food court. He's got hair like Britney and knows what I'm starting to for. I hope they ask me out. Take me up to my favorite spot. I'll be just keen and Nick, but don't forget the brother.
That's down to you today. But baby, I don't want to wait. That's okay. You're a rock body anyway. Rock your body until Canada Day. Everybody come and play. Throw every last care away. Let's go to the mall today. Went to the mall with a couple of friends. I had a whole week's allowance to spend. I wanted to put beers in a shirt. We came here to shop, and we came here to flirt. I turned around and the creature say, "Five Mr. Brown Rolled me." Said, "Lady, I don't approve, so I had to get down and bust a Texas move. Hit it, Fred, come on." It's the best part.
Let's go to the bar.
Let's go to the bar, everybody!
Everybody come and play. Don't throw every last care away.
Let's go to
The ball today. Everybody wants the ball. Everybody come and play. Don't throw every last care away.
I love my hoop earrings!
Today,
Today,
today, today, today,
Okay. Robin Sparkles, eat your heart out.
That was interesting. That was the food court part.
Wow. Yeah. I liked our rapping part too. I thought we did a
that
pretty good
was
job.
fast. Good night, everyone.
Goodbye, my love.
Let's go to the mall today.
Or
Lost in conversation, not my imagination, just the situation I'm in. It's time to start over again and again and again. Yeah. I'm lost in conversations, not my imagination, just the situation.